All right, perfect. Welcome, everybody. We have Shauna Michelle Poe here from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and we have some very special guests tonight. I just am sitting here in complete gratitude with speaking to them today and just hearing more of their stories and their backgrounds in regards to animal health and activation. It's just blowing me away. And Andrea just sending me more pictures of what's been happening with these incredible animals prior to activation and then with activation. We have such a mission here. We have such a purpose to go and make a difference in this world in every aspect, with humans, with animals, in every way that we can. And we just thank you all for showing up here tonight to listen to these two gorgeous souls. And we will have some additional ones at the very end and hear how activation is so necessary and important to our animals, to anybody that's any mammal, right? You guys, that's living and breathing and walking this planet. Any mammal needs this information. So I'm going to pop right to it. We've got Miss Debbie Kral here, you guys. And just, I want you to listen to this. Debbie helped pioneer the equine physical therapy industry over 40 years ago. Okay, pioneer. So think about that as you think of activation as well tonight. She was fortunate to work with Hall of Fame trainers in racing, Grand Prix, and 3-day eventing. I believe too, Debbie, you'll have to share. I mean, you worked with the Kentucky Derby. I mean, you worked with all the best of the best. So this is somebody that you really need to listen to tonight. She said, it's so humbling. I love your heart. It's so humbling to have worked with champion equine athletes on both the US and Canadian Olympic teams. Wow. And while traveling the East Coast most of the year, she also owned and operated a custom saddle shop in Florida. And she is just so grateful to have learned about this information from a complete stranger. So for those of you that are coming in tonight, we just want to say thank you. We want to say thank you for coming in tonight and just thank the person that invited you here, because they care about you. They care about your animals, your pets, all of it. And I just, animals and pets, horses, dogs, cats, all of them, they are just a special place in our heart, aren't they? We have 2 dogs in our home. We had a Sphynx cat for many years that passed away this past year. And there's the whole saying of man's best friend. And that goes for all animals. They just love purely and unconditionally. And our hearts are just for them. And then the connection that we have with them is just something out of this world that I think we would all agree, right? So as you are listening tonight, we would love to answer questions. We would love to just blow your socks off with their hearts and their information. So as you see, if you are on Zoom right now, definitely use the chat, ask any questions, put any stories in that you have. We'll try to address those. And if you are, live on Facebook, same thing goes there. We are just here for you and just to really share with you, again, the power of activation. So Debbie, welcome, sister. We are so happy that you are here, and we are honored and grateful because we are protective of your energy and your time, and just, wow, what a gift for us to have you here. So thank you so much.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. You and Sean both. Y'all do so much for everyone, crossline, across the country, the world. It doesn't matter. You guys just step up all the time, and I appreciate what you put out there for all of us to follow, your grand leaders, and what a honor to be here in front of your powerful team. So thank you so much. You guys are absolutely on fire, and it is so fun to watch.
Well, thank you. And like I said, this is a mission, right? We are one world, and we are just one family here. And if we can just get the information out to people and really build that belief of what we have, that's the mission and the purpose. And what I love is that you are a pioneer, and we are pioneering activation here within our company. And I would just love to hear, Debbie, if you would, what caught your attention? Because I know you were like me. in the beginning, right? Skeptical. Why haven't I heard of this before? And you've known about this now for what, about 10 years?
10 years, yes.
10 years.
Very funny.
So can you just tell us about what caught your attention and kind of the journey of that coming from the background that you've got?
Right. I was a massive skeptic. I did my homework on just about everything. Being a pioneer, that's what I did. Was I brought a lot of the equipment that we use today, lasers and ultrasounds, things that were human products that we bled over into the equine world. So I was forever trying to look for what was the next greatest thing to be able to bring in. And I was absolutely floored that I didn't know about this. I knew what oxidative stress was. I knew that we all have it. All the people have it. All the horses have it. All the dogs have it. But I also thought that there was nothing you could do for it, because it was just recently, a time where there was something we can do for it. So I didn't believe it. I had the most perfect introduction to this. It's like I say, we try and keep this simple. A lot of people don't know this story, but I loved my job. I loved the horses. And then I got to where I didn't love the industry. It was changing a lot. There was a time when you made massive change and differences in our animals, and the money was too big. And I was seeing things get hurt that didn't need to get hurt. But I didn't know where I could go. I mean, I'd been doing this for 35, 40 years at that time. And that's all I knew. I knew a lot about horses, but that was about it. And I realized that I was going to have to get out and change and do something different. And that was real scary. But as it was, that morning, I had gone around to 3 Hall of Fame barns that I wasn't too happy with, and told them I just didn't have time to work there anymore, which was kind of true. I already worked 100 hours a week, every week. It was a 7-day-a-week job for years and years. Probably the first 25 years, it was fun. But after that, it got old. So I didn't know where I was going. And I just got rid of an awful lot of cash flow that comes into me. And I pulled up to the racetrack in Saratoga, New York. And I went up there for a reason. It was one of my favorite parts of the property. And I went up there to set an intention for something of the highest good to come into my life. So I pulled up to the rail. And there was a man and a woman and a little girl in front of my truck. Turned the truck off. I saw them see my door sign, Therapeutic Equine Services. They do it all the time. Somebody wants to come over there and show me something. It never has any science to it, so I don't do anything about it. I saw the elbow bump. And so Justin Brown sent his wife over to show me something. Well, of course, it's the blue bottle. So almost every week I do this. I look at the product, I go to PubMed, exactly. There's nothing there. I tell them I'm not interested. And it was just a perfect presentation, show me the bottle. And they sat down and showed me the ABC primetime, and without saying a whole lot. Now, they'd only been in the business for a few weeks. I think it was maybe a month or two. And I looked at that ABC, and being the skeptic, I just was really rude. And I looked at him and I said, so how much money did it cost for them to do that? I didn't even believe the ABC was real. Somebody had to get paid bucks for that. And so I went home, did my homework, canceled my appointments for that afternoon and all evening. And I lived on PubMed and everything else to try and disprove that this just can't be true. I didn't know about it. So it's all about timing. Sometimes things are new. And so when I got introduced and saw this was real, first customer was my old horse. He was 21 at the time, been struggling with some real serious problems. And as a therapist, I'd thrown every book at him that I knew in 7 years. And I was down to probably the spring, I was going to have to put him down. It was just a condition that's not good for Florida. And sent a bottle down to the caretaker here. And within a month, I realized he was going to be here for a while. And so I had the next 9 years with him, and just lost him last year at 30 years old. So that was my first customer. That was my first, I can't believe this is real deal. And maybe it was only for him. So then I had to get a bunch of horses on it. And PubMed is really what brought me in, because I had to have the science. It was not about, yes, their hair coat looks better. Yes, there's a lot of things that can be better, but I had to know the science was real. Something was backing this up, why it happened, what were the side effects, before I could go to my clientele, which were some pretty big clientele, and tell them it was something they needed to know about. So I was very excited when I saw the science was there. And that's where I start almost everybody with, is going to PubMed. We all know, go PubMed, oxidative stress, and whatever health concern. But you can go to equine oxidative stress, and they are studies just for horses. There's over 500 studies now. And when we started 10 years ago, there was only 27. So it's massive that you can take somebody there to a medical website, and they can see that this is real and who the scientist was and how long was a study for those people that have to have what I had. And then after that, I don't have to look at studies anymore. It's all about, we have the belief, but that's a great place to build belief, is by seeing it in print. And some of us just have to see it that way.
Yes. So question, because I know when I was first introduced, and I thought, I was going through my own health journey when I first got started, and I thought I knew so much because I was researching about my own health and what could I do for it. And I, believe it or not, did not know what oxidative stress was at that point. And I also didn't know what PubMed was. So for those that are listening, just simply, and I love, because I'm looking at some different faces that I know. We've got Dr. Amy Leverett here. When you were talking about PubMed and research, she's nodding her head in agreement and whatnot. And I see Andrea up there, the research, the validation, and the stories and whatnot. But can you just simplify real quick, Debbie, what is oxidative stress and what is PubMed, and why is that such a big deal? And why did you not look? Right? Because if you go to PubMed and you type in this activator, you are going to see the research on the branded product, right? Not just one of the ingredients. And so that's a huge deal. But can you just simply just explain what that is? And then for horses, why is that such a big deal?
Okay. Well, the oxidative stress, in the simplest way to put it, is cellular damage. We all have it. It's actually the difference of what your body can clean up and damage and what the overload is. The overload is really called oxidative stress. So our bodies can take care of ourselves when we're younger. The older we are, the less care we get, it seems like, as far as enzymes and antioxidants. All of a sudden, the oxidative stress starts overloading your body, and that's when it starts creating problems. Whether it's for people, that's when our disease process happens. It's the same thing for our horses. The older they get, the more damage they have, the more problems they're going to have. I've always been around professional horses, and it's really fun when you can be around just some fun horses, because they get to get out of their stall, they get to put their head down, eat grass, be in the sunshine, roll around. Mine had to have acupuncture and chiropractic and all these things because, they were a professional horse. They didn't get out and move around like they could, like they're supposed to. So when we take an animal that is used to be running around 80% of the time, and we put them in stalls and we give them a certain kind of feed so they can have a certain amount of energy, that changes everything about them. They have way more stress. They're herd animals that love to be around other animals, and we have walls and petitions because we're trying to make them safe and make sure they're not hurt, or they're, just that's where their mind is, and we have to be careful with them. And it's just tough working on professional horses because they have more of the oxidative stress. It's just like a professional athlete. They go out there, play football, get bumped into each other. They have more injuries. They have more inflammation. Same way with horses. They go out there and do a job for us. I call it people games. It wasn't their idea to run around in a circle as fast as they can or jump over the highest pile of sticks that they can. They're going to have more problems. And I believe that this is one of the best things that we can do to help them with the problems that occur from the jobs that we ask them to do. And what was the other thing you asked about?
Amazing. Thank you. Just what, to PubMed, how big of a deal really is that? Because I had never heard of it. And now that I know, I'm just like, that's the place that you always go for your research. But I didn't know what that was. For those that are new to that, can you just explain why that's such an important place to go?
Sure. That was massive for me, that there was information there. I feel like our job is just to get information into people's hands, get it into their mind, and then it's whatever they do with it. But we've got to get them to a place where they can believe this is real. And like I said, I don't believe a lot of what I hear. I did know what PubMed was, and that's a place that's very difficult to get a study put on because it has to be validated and go through a lot of processes and a lot of human beings and a lot of studies before they put their stamp of approval on it and allow it to be in PubMed.gov, because it is the National Institute of Health. People around the world go there to find out what's really real. There is a second site that I wasn't familiar with until about maybe 6 or 7 years ago, and Dr. Lee Seward turned me onto it, and that's scholar.google. And those are the only two research engines out there. Those are the only two places to go find what's real. And that is scholar.google. It's not Google. What you want to see when you go to one of these sites is Who was the study done by? What were the name of the scientists? Who were the doctors? How long did the study last? When were those years? How long did it take them to get it published? How long did the study, how many years did it take start to finish, which many times is between 7 and 10 years. So when I started looking at this 10 years ago, there was a couple hundred studies done. Oh, excuse me, there was 180 something studies on horses, and now we've got over 500. Well, guess what? We've gone through 10 years of all of this time to have these studies prepared, and then it takes a year or two to get them published. And then to say that we've got that many on a site like the National Institute of Health, that is massive. That speaks. You know, you can talk to the doctors when you say you've got peer-reviewed studies. That's
Amen. Amen. And I know for you and your name, especially working with, you know, the elites of the elite when it comes to horses, your name matters, Debbie. And what you recommend is I mean, it's the best of the best. And I know that obviously that matters. So would you say this breakthrough is just a wow factor? And what type of, what have you seen over the years? Because it's been 10 years now, and you had mentioned your first customer you didn't know was going to be around that much longer, and you were able to keep that sweetheart around for another 9 years or so. What other things have you seen with horses, with your customers' horses, all over the place? And I would just want to add too, because I've got my husband in my brain right now, and this will go with Andrea too. Sean would always be like, horses, dogs, cats, goats, cows, they don't know what you're giving them. They're grateful for whatever you're giving them, but they don't know what you're giving them. It is not a placebo effect. So when you suddenly are seeing some improvements and differences, it's not in their head. It's literally happening. And like Debbie said, it's going down to that cellular level. So what have you, give us some stories, and then we'll move on.
Unfortunately, you know, we can't talk about a lot of diseases, but there's so many things that you guys are going to, you know, realize. It's like when you take a young horse, whether it's a yearling or a weanling, most of them have been on a farm most of their life. We're only talking about 3 to 5, 8 months old, and they end up going to a horse sale. That's pretty frightening. Put them on a trailer, go somewhere for 15 hours, pull them out, and there's like 500 babies, all of them screaming at the same time. Everybody's unhappy. Nobody knows where mama is. They don't know where their friends are, and they're screaming. And so we had one of my distributors, y'all probably know Bonnie and Kim Heath. They have young horses they take to sales, and they started experimenting with the NRF2, and what a magic pill that is with anxiety and other problems that come along with those situations, going there and you're being it. And that's been remarkable as far as their minds, also their physical fitness. I mean, when you're that old, you're not very old, and now you've got to go, you just got off a trailer ride 15 hours, and now you've got to go stand up on a tarmac for the next 3 days. Your feet hurt, your knees hurt, their ankles hurt, they inflammation. They've got tight muscles around the hips and shoulders where they've been turning sometimes up to 70, 80, 90 times a day. And we have seen remarkable things with these horses being able to come back from the sales and have a better attitude, but not be sore, not be tired. They prick those ears up, come up to the front of the stall when in the past they would have had their head down in the far corner, not wanting to see a human again. So that was massive to see that happen. I also put a bunch of 2-year-olds at the racetrack. Again, they go away from their farm, they go away from their buddies, and they are all now in a barn with somebody else. They just now happen to be 1,200 pounds instead of 400 pounds. So they're a little more to handle sometimes. And we saw the same kind of calming effect where they didn't go out of their mind for quite as long. You know, they still kind of wanted to know where they were at, but it wasn't the same level of anxiety. And we started these horses on it somewhere between a month and 2 months before we took them out of their environment. But we have seen massive changes in weeks. So it's a wonderful thing to put your animals on. We know that, you know, when you look at a horse or a dog or anything, their hair coat is telling you what's going on inside of them. Yes. And, you know, a lot of times when these animals are moved from one place to the other, first thing is they got a dull coat, shine's gone. Everything inside is not happy. And we don't see that happening with this. We see their haircut stay on there. We don't see all these fungus things jump up on them. It is just massive how this can work at a cellular level and in their mind. The older horses, most all older horses have got old people problems, like arthritis and inflammation and all these things that we do to ourselves as we get old. And we're seeing that, with these horses too. As they get older, they're having a better lifestyle because we're able to take care of some of those things that is causing those pains.
Yeah.